everyone, and welcome to episode 78 of Podcast of the Five Rings, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of the Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and SoundCloud, and topic by topic, day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday. To catch updates about the podcast or for other news, give us a follow on your social media platform of choice listed in the description below. I am Mao, your resident wildcard, I guess, but it is my year, so here I am. And we are joined by not Tetsuo, the wall that will not fall.
He has fallen.
Has fallen once again to parental issues. And so he gets to miss our 2-year anniversary, unfortunately.
Can't believe him. I can't believe we miss our 2-year anniversary of our podcast.
I forgot to stop and get the paper poppers. I'm sorry.
But we are also joined by Meta, the cursed duelist, Fortune. I actually can't remember your thing.
We've done
Close
this for
enough.
2 years, Mal.
I know, but
Close enough.
I've tuned out for the last 2 years of the intro.
He is a blot on all of us. I mean,
I'll expect you to
our overseer,
the guy. I'm the guy.
Person, Obsidian, is also here.
Let me crack that whip.
Can we do the intros like this where we just
call me Devo? Well, when April gets here, it'll be the month of Meta, and then then Meta can do the intro every month.
Why do I get April? Do I get it because it's April showers and I like to shower and I like to rain on everybody's parade?
Yeah, that's it.
Sure,
we're gonna go with that.
All right,
I can beat it now.
Uh,
So how's everyone's week been?
Shitty.
Let me tell you about it. In detail.
It's baseball season. It's baseball season, so it's busy.
Oh yeah. I guess sports
buying
will directly impact your
sports ball.
It is getting to be spring. It is going to be summer soon. It's going to be the time of grilling, outdoor fun, activities, sports.
Yeah, it's actually been pretty warm here, so we're going to grill this weekend. So you still have to dig your way out of the snow, don't you?
No, snow's gone.
What?
You don't have to do that anymore. Yep. Do not have to do anymore. No, now it's wet and rainy.
Yeah, we've had a decent amount of flooding in the past few weeks because it's rained almost every day, but you know how that goes.
Yeah, it's been quiet. It's been nice. It's been nice to have warm air. I was gonna say warm air again. That's not wrong though. Warm. It's nice to be warm again. I was tired of the cold. I want to see the sun more often. Savings just went on through, so now the sun's out, quote unquote, longer.
I hate summer here. You at least don't have to deal with the humidity, Meta.
You
get some of that, but it ain't as bad.
Yeah, I get a little bit of everything. I get to experience the whole seasons. So
when it gets about July or August, you walk outside here and you can't breathe. So,
jeez,
I don't even notice humidity unless it's like about to rain, basically.
Isn't it like always humid though?
Yeah, it's just the natural state of things down here.
I was gonna say that's like the
never
normal.
if it never like it has to get like to like 80-90% humidity for me to like, it's a little muggy out.
That's spraying out my humidity towel.
My auto water sprayer all over myself.
I remember when I was a kid, we took a trip down to Disney World. I think that's the one in Florida.
Yes, Disney World is Florida.
Yeah, Disney World, Florida. I remember going down there and whatnot. And I will say right now, as a child, I just remember those fans that also acted as water, like squirt bottles and whatnot.
Yeah,
were like the savior against every problem down there. Thirsty? Have a little bit of water. Hot? Spray a little bit of water on you. I remember that. It was great though. I was like, I don't even remember what. I think the only ride I do remember actually going on is the Star Wars ride, the Star Wars one. Beyond that, I don't remember every single ride that I was on. I just remember the fan and the squirt bottle, and remembering that.
That fan is better than any coaster.
Absolutely is. I was just upset that the little fan just couldn't generate more wind to cool me off.
I want one of those for my house when I try to sleep. Just spray it all over me.
I couldn't do that. The sound of a fan going back and forth, like in a room when it's on, like during those hot nights or whatever, and that transition from like the cold to warm, and your body's like, "What's going on?" and it doesn't know how to like adjust yet. So you put on a fan to try to cool yourself off. Those things keep me up. I cannot sleep with them.
I have a fan on me at all times.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
And I don't. Yeah, we had the power go out a few weeks ago. Right when it was time to go to sleep, and it was like the first time I've had like zero white noise in like, I don't know, over a decade, and it was just so weird.
It's horrifying, right?
Yeah.
Lily's more like that when she can deal with, like, she loves white noise. She will put on stuff in the background and listen to it. I just get distracted.
What you know about that rainy mood, Meta?
Okay, hold on. I will give an exception to the rainy mood, because let me tell you, rainy mood, that's...
I'm going to edit that in like the background of a podcast one day, just the whole time, rainy mood.
The whole time it is rainy mood.
Whenever we talk about
some...
well, I'm going to talk about depressing stuff later.
Oh, God, no.
But you know.
So we'll talk about, like, it's going to be ASMR mode. We're just going to go like, and welcome back to a lovely time with your podcast hosts.
The sound of rolling dice.
Could you imagine that is like things to fall asleep to? You know how they always got like this? They just got gamer noise in the background, like rolling dice, like chips being laid down, cards being drawn.
The guy who can't breathe right, the rustling of the Doritos bag.
Yeah.
The hiss of the Mountain Dew bottle is
from the can.
Yep.
I'm gonna make a whole hour long. Just like fall asleep to the sounds of gaming. Oh my god. That'd be great. We're gonna do it one of these days.
So I guess we can move on to our first topic, meta.
You know what's really good?
Chocolate.
About playing. I mean, you're not wrong.
Only milk.
Only milk? Really? You
Yeah.
Like the dark chocolate?
No. Not a fan.
Not a fan. I like all.
Yeah,
I like that
mean,
bitterness. I like that sweetness.
anything that's like 70-ish and over, like less, I guess. Like anything over that for dark, I'm not really into, but that's about it.
Well, that which was I don't know if I've ever been. I don't even think I know the difference on the levels of like 70 over or under. I just know that I like it.
Well, like the 85 or 90% is just like
Oh,
that super bitter
okay.
dark chocolate. Like, yeah.
One day we're gonna have an episode where we don't talk about anything we normally talk. We're just gonna bring completely separate abstract concepts. Like,
I mean, we could talk about food
chocolate?
for quite
I
a
know.
while.
I was gonna say food is probably one of the few things that we all really enjoy in this channel. But no, it's not. Unfortunately, edible is the new game that just came out, DMC 5.
I mean, it is if you try hard.
I was gonna say, yeah, I kind of wish.
How does
But
one
that
eat
said,
data?
while it's not technically edible, it's not technically a food. I shouldn't say it's not technically edible. It is bloody delicious. Let me tell you about this wonderful game. So, Cap, if you don't know what Devil May Cry is, Devil May Cry is a series that's come out for or kind of like around the beginning of the PS2 era, and has kind of jumped from PS2 to PS3, and then now to PS4, Xbox One, so on and so forth. That's kind of just your generational jump. The game series originally was a failed concept idea for the next Resident Evil 4, but they decided that the game had switched over so much from like what a Resident Evil was, it really wouldn't work. But as its own idea, it was actually pretty cool. It's kind of been a little bit of hit or miss with the production team on it, because I mean, technically the first game did really well. It was technically a failed project, so to speak, that became a success. Second game came out, and that had a whole lot of problems behind the developmental field.
Yeah, I think I've heard that 2 is kind of generally the worst of the
Yeah,
main ones.
two is the worst one gameplay wise, design wise, and whatnot. Because there's just a lot of unfortunately, there's like I can't believe I'm saying this for like a single player game like this one, but in a game like this, there's actually a lot of imbalances.
Mhm.
I that kind of made things really wonky and wacky. The environments were like they kind of wanted to make these big, large environments, but they were so big that they were utterly empty. So you'd be running around these large areas that had nothing in
Yeah.
it. Enemies were kind of dull and boring. Guns were very powerful. It was just better to just
Oh,
shoot
wow.
your problems away.
That's
Never get
weird after
close.
watching you play through some of the
Yeah,
other ones.
yeah, guns were very strong. It was just kind of the general consensus that unless you're really good at the game, just shoot your problem away because you could do it pretty quickly. Um, I mean, the original director of the game was taken off the game, and they put on Itsuno, who would eventually become the director for the rest of the games that came out. They put Itsuno on there, and he had like 3 months to fix as much as he could to make it essentially playable. Was his major goals to make it a playable game.
Mhm.
So it shipped out. Gameplay wise, story wise, it's not really a great game, but it sold really successful and led to what is the third game, which was essentially considered to be one of the best games, and
Yeah, a
arguably
lot of
still.
people have that or had at least, or maybe
Yeah,
not now, but had it at number 1.
yeah, it's very much number one. It covers a lot. It's really well done. The fourth one came out, and that one essentially also had production problems.
Yeah, there's a little bit more mixed on that one from what I
Yeah,
have
it's a
heard.
little bit mixed. It didn't come out. It's not bad. It's just not. It wasn't as good as 3. It was really hard to beat.
Mm.
So and then the game kind of went into hiatus for a while.
And then they
And
came out with they were like, we're gonna just reboot it.
and they came out with the 5th one, and nothing ever happened before that.
The true DMC file.
So so then they tried doing a reboot, bringing it over to Western for a long time. This is kind of like the Crapcom era, as it's kind of referred to unaffectionately. So
Yeah.
a very long period of time where Capcom just made bad game after bad game after bad game, or they tried different things. They tried going on a very big Western binge. They created DMC, which some people were very much for, but a lot of the gaming community was very much against. A lot of critics defended it, but the critics don't matter as much as your player base does, and the player base wanted to see it burn. It actually did very poorly sales wise, regardless of what side you're taking on. They had a projected amount. It didn't even get remotely close to that. They projected a new amount of sales for it, reducing it by, I think, a certain million or so. It still didn't reach their secondary projection goal after the huge drop off. So it was considered silently, but truthfully, a financial failure.
Yeah, they had to sell Dante's model off to dentists.
They did.
Hmm.
It's actually quite literally used in a commercial. I don't know how to say. I don't know how to feel about that. We didn't really know what was going to happen, but then suddenly, at E3, they unveiled what the rumors had been hinting towards, and the leaks had given out. DMC5, it was coming back. And it did. And the game finally came out just last week. It has been a huge success. It has already sold over 3 million copies on Steam's numerics alone.
Oh wow, I didn't realize it was that much.
Yes,
Yeah,
it has.
I
so
saw
much.
the
It sold
I saw
a bunch.
I saw the physical amount in Japan was super low, like the lowest it's ever been for a DMC game.
Yeah,
But
the
it's
physical is
I guess
low,
I mean
but
just more and more going to digital.
yeah, but financially though, oh my gosh, has it done well? It has essentially it has had a higher peak than Resident Evil 2, the remake that just recently came out, which peaked at around 74,000 people on the platform. Whereas DMC5 peaked at 88,000, 89,000 if we're rounding up or down. So it technically hit 89,000 from that one. We haven't seen the numbers yet come out. Unfortunately, it's still falling behind Monster Hunter World's peak of 329,000 rounded down. But I mean that's definitely a different beast altogether when you're comparing it to the Monster Hunter and the love that it is for that game. All the same, it has surprised a lot of people just because of those not only the peak value playing out, but kind of potentially beating out Resident Evil 2. A lot of people did not expect that. So the game has done financially immensely well, and reviews for it have come out, and it's scored wonderfully.
Yep.
Majority of viewers on average give it a 9, but some people have popped it up at 10. Some people have popped it down at 8. But overall, it is absolutely worth the money to put into it.
Goodbye,
and it
Crapcom.
shows. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I mean,
mean,
Capcom-
Monster Hunter was like the start of it.
Yeah, basically
yeah,
since Monster Hunter, they've been
redemption
really
arc.
turning it out.
It's the redemption arc of Capcom. That's pretty much what it's been all about. So
All it will take was if they can make a good Street Fighter game.
I mean, the Mega Man came out. That did really well. We've seen Monster Hunter World has done beautifully on consoles. That's considered it's broken internal records. We've talked about that before.
Resident Evil 2 has been good. The remake.
Resident Evil 2 has seen tons of love from people. They have absolutely fallen in love with that game. It's done very, very well. So, I mean, this is Capcom just coming out with great game after great game after great game. They are doing wonderfully right now. And there's a lot of reasons for it, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the beautiful perfection that is Devil May Cry 5. I'm gonna say right now, I really enjoy Capcom with a budget. It's really nice to see like these kind of games actually have like a full-on budget behind them, because DMC5 is not only gorgeous to look at, it runs on the RE7 engine, but more importantly, the game and the combat, the controls, the feel, the design, it's so well done. I honestly am very glad that it succeeded as far as it has.
I just love watching the combo videos that people post on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest things. The combo videos are great. I am absolutely loving and to see how people figure things out and whatnot, how to make the most of them, and so on and so forth. Seeing how they like abuse the systems and really like shred bosses, which is like some of the funnest stuff to watch. I myself have only just gotten the Dante Must Die mode. I end up spending a lot of my time just doing the second to last mission, essentially the final battle of the game. I find myself just practicing that fight a lot. I just enjoy the crap out of it so much. But the game is finely tuned. I will say Dante Must Die is a little bit harsh on damage. I don't remember it like this from Dante Must Die on Devil May Cry 4 or 3. But I mean, it's been so many years since I've played the game on those difficulties. I really can't say if it's just that I'm not used to it, or if it's just or if it's some other reason I just haven't seen it in a while. So it's really hard to say. But yeah, the general response has been wonderful for it. It's been great. The story follows kind of the two main titular characters of the series, one kind of being the newcomer from 4, which is Nero, and the other one being Dante, who are now accompanied by a new character named V, the mysterious V.
Is that the black-haired guy?
Yes, that is the black-haired guy who's got very skinny, kind of looks like Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
And whatnot. Funny story about that, by the way. When the game was originally being made and whatnot, they had actually already created the design and gotten the model to kind of like a model for the character V in the game. And then when Star Wars dropped, they saw it and they were like, "Oh shit, he looks exactly like our character." No, everybody's just gonna reference him as Kylo Ren now. It's too late though. We can't. We've already done the modeling. We can't go back. So they kind of just had to ship in and hope that like nobody made Kylo Ren references, which it seems to be free of. Most people haven't, although I have seen a few meme pictures that have quite literally slapped Kylo Ren onto it. So
yeah,
they're not free of that completely. But essentially, V's hired them to go on and take an evil demon king that has resurrected or come back, who's attempting to extract the blood of humans from the normal world in order to progress towards some goal, and it's your job to go in there and figure it out.
Yeah, honestly, the game or the story seems pretty simple.
The story is very simple. Devil May Cry, a lot of people will state the stories are never complex. They're not like too deep or crazy on them. And they're very much true. I would say probably the best story out of all of them is 3. Just because it really does touch on some tones and shows the most character growth for these characters. But 5 does a wonderful job. If I really had to rate the story alone, I would say 3 is still probably my favorite, but 5 does a good job. Honestly, though, 5 is a lot. I feel 5 is also kind of like a love letter to a lot of the games that come before because they make references to every game, and bits and pieces about them for here on and out.
Yeah, a lot of people said that they feel like or at least going in and seeing the story stuff. Don't confirm or deny because I'm playing through 1 through 3 right now. They kind of got the impression going in, like the final trailer or whatever, that this was tying most of the stuff up.
And it kind of is. It ties a bit of the stuff left over from 4 mostly, but it touches on it touches on 3 and 1 a lot. There's a number of things that are kind of referenced from them and the
2 is
like.
just the forgotten bastard child.
Unfortunately, yeah, but 2 gets a lot of love actually in the light novels or the manga. I don't know what they are. I can't remember at the moment off the top of my head. That kind of like are tie in to prior to DMC5, they did a light novel or manga tie-in, and that kind of talks over like how Nero meets Nico. It actually does a fair amount of information from DMC2's involved in there a lot. Um and it kind of like also goes into a little bit of 4 and 1, so to speak, as well, but
Yeah.
most of it involves around 4 and 2, and kind of introducing some of the characters and how they got here and why they're here. The game even makes references to the anime, Patty Lowell and Morrison, who kind of really made their debut, so to speak, in the anime. Both have a bit of roles in here. Morrison has a small role. He shows up both in the beginning and at the end. Patty Lowell even gets a line in it. She shows up in one scene, more calling Dante, and then Dante desperately not wanting to answer that call. Um, so it's been it's there's a lot of love towards it, and it's been wonderfully refreshing. So
Yeah, when
yeah.
did 4 come out?
4 came out, I think, like when the PS3 launched. Let me look it up real
So
quick for that.
7 or 8?
Yeah, I think it was like 7 or 8. Let me check it out here. 2008 of January 31st was
Yeah.
DMC4. So that is the
It's
last.
been a wait.
Yeah, that is the last one in this in the series prior before the reboot, because the reboot came out 5 years after that. It's quite literally the reboot came out in 2013, and then it's only been 2019 that we finally saw the drop. So it's been technically 5 years in between each game,
Mhm.
which has been kind of a shame, really.
Well, maybe now with this success, it'll be quicker to the next one.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. As long as they do it right, they take the time, have a good budget on it. That's what matters the most about it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the game's wonderfully done. There are little things though that if I have to nitpick, I'm going to nitpick because I like to be objective and unbiased as possible. And there are some things that I do find a little bit nitpicky about the game. Biggest thing that comes to mind is unfortunately the music. Devil Trigger, the combat theme for Nero is
It's really
by
good.
and large, it's really good. It's immensely good. In fact, I love that song. Dante's theme and V's theme, not
I actually
so
like V's
much. You like V's theme?
Yeah, I don't know. So it reminds me of something that I can't quite remember, but I like it. Although I like it in game, I should say. I tried listening to it standalone and it didn't quite. I don't know. I think the way they're
It does
cut makes it even Devil
yeah.
Trigger, like the way they're cut, like they're cut for they're for the video games. Listening to them like standalone isn't quite the same.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that there's definitely a difference when you listen to standalone and not. To me, Devil Trigger, just on a personal level, Devil Trigger to me stands up very well by itself. It's the other songs that don't. I don't mind them so much when I'm playing and fighting because then I don't always hear them as well.
Right. Yeah, because
but-
the way the combo system triggers the music.
Yeah. So you kind of get that build up if you're doing really good with your combos and whatnot. Unfortunately,
Or if you're getting hit all over the place, you don't really hear much.
yeah, it's true too. Unfortunately, the music just kind of doesn't stand out. A lot of the music for the game just isn't great, and it's kind of sad. I think some of it's good, some of it's bad. I can say right now for the fact is that generally I can tell like if I really like a song or not because I will go look for that song and listen to it and then listen to it again. I've
Mhm.
kind of listened to some of the music songs by themselves from the bosses and the like, and they're okay, but they're nothing standoutish, I suppose, at least to
Yeah.
me anyway. They don't really pop, and that's kind of a shame because I do remember fondly a lot of the music, like again from Devil May
Mhm.
Cry 3, standing out and popping. Devil May Cry 4 kind of had the same problem. I think as 5 did, is that the music didn't fully pop. Some of it did, some of it did better. Ironically, I actually think if you have the soundtrack for DMC4, they actually give you all the songs that are used, even the ones that are utilized in the scenes themselves. They don't just give you the fight songs. So the way the tracks are worked, if you do the cutscene like OST for it first, it will lead into the next track quite perfectly. I've actually found that some of the songs that lead into the boss battle are better than the actual boss battles for 4, which is really weird to think and say, but that's how it felt. Some of the boss battles just weren't all that stand outish. 3 really was the one that kind of really did well for me, I feel. The other thing I would say is that with any of these games, they get better as time goes on. DMC3 is pretty much like my perfect example. Is that and like in a lot of these games is that as time goes on, they end up getting the camera works better with you, the controllers are more precise,
Mhm.
your actions are taken a little bit better into account and whatnot. DMC3 had kind of a if you play DMC1, there's a very strong stiffness. You're playing it now, Obs, so you're
Hmm.
pretty much aware of it. It's a very
Yeah, it is
stiff
very
feeling.
stiff.
You are unfortunately kind of it's almost like a jumping in Castlevania, like the original Castlevania. It's like once you jump, you're stuck jumping
Hmm.
that direction at that speed. That's just how it is. That's kind of it as in DMC1. DMC2 kind of really sheds off a lot of that shell, but it's still got a teeny bit of it. DMC3 kind of refines it, but doesn't really change, I think, too hugely from DMC2. But you are kind of stuck a little bit. Sometimes you might like the camera might pan over and you'll kind of pull your controller in just a manner to help make you jump a little bit better, but your character will end up rolling as opposed to jumping because of the way the camera's angled and the way you're kind of
Hmm.
moving the stick. And that gets a little bit frustrating. 5 has done a great job on improving on it, but there are still a couple times where it does happen where I'm attempting to jump backwards. My character's got like my back to the enemy. So the character's back is facing towards the screen, or at least a little bit of an angle of it. And I guess it's just enough of an angle where if I hold back and I don't actually hold towards the back of the character, but hold back towards me, it's enough where it registers as, okay, he wants him to roll based on his positioning in the game as opposed to jumping back,
Hmm.
which has unfortunately led to me getting hit a couple times. It's not killer though. It's rare it happens. So again, it's more of a nitpick than anything else. Um, Oh, what else can I say that is kind of a pain in the butt? I would say some of the character designs and changes for the characters themselves are a little bit different off. I mean, I don't want to spoil too much for you, Obs, but the way like the character Lady in particular,
Hmm.
is presented in 3. She has a very big shift in 5. She doesn't fully feel like Lady from 3, or she doesn't feel like Lady from 3 that has kind of grown up and changed a little bit. She feels like a very different
Yeah.
character.
I mean, honestly, from watching through, you could remove Lady and Trish from the game, and it probably wouldn't make much of a difference.
Yeah, and that's the other unfortunate part is that they kind of really had no weight to a lot of what's going on, which is kind of the same thing that would happen with 4. At least in that one, Trish had some stuff going on for her of what she was doing, but honestly, she could be removed from the game and it really wouldn't have affected much. And Lady pretty much just shows up to give the job on to kind of like give some background stuff when you get later into the game.
Yeah.
But at least in that one, they kind of had their bits for why they were there, or at least why they showed up and why you got to where you are now. But in 5, as Mal said, they really just feel like they couldn't be removed, which is a shame because their characters are really cool and I like them. And it sucks to kind of see them unfortunately set to the side. I don't know if that's because just restraints on what they could do with DMC5, or if there were other things they just kind of had to choose between what they wanted to add in, what they didn't want to add in, so on and so forth. But I'm kind of hoping that if we see DLC for this game, we get to see a little bit more in-depth stuff on Lady and Trish, because I really do like them as characters. I think they're wonderful characters, and it's kind of a shame that they just didn't get as much love as I really feel like they should have gotten. So that was another thing I think that kind of just unfortunately fell to the wayside. Beyond that, though, I think anything else I would have to say about the game is a little bit is really starting to get into the nitty gritty of it, and I think
Well, you also
I'll save
didn't
that.
quite love playing as V, right?
Oh yeah, that's true too. Now this isn't to say V is a bad character. V is not a bad character. I'm gonna preface this right
Narratively,
away.
he's fine. Like
Narratively, he's fine. There
he's
are
very
people who,
like edgy, like in it,
yes.
like
I almost love his
brooding
almost,
more than like
yes.
the over the top of the others.
It's like where the other characters kind of these over the tops. Where Dante's always like nonchalant about everything. Nero's always like kind of intense and rebellious about everything. V kind of takes like this gothic poetry thing to kind of like the edgiest level possible
He
about
reminded me of Genesis from Crisis Core.
Yes, he did. But in a better way.
No, just the fact that he's always got that book he's
he does.
reading
I know
from.
he's reading. He's like, and so the story goes. And he's just keeps reading out of it, like saying all these tales and fables.
Yeah,
and
it's
whatnot.
a collection of poems from Lord Byron, I think, or something like that. I can't remember
Yeah, I don't
who it
remember
was
fully.
exactly, but yeah.
So, but he's enjoyable for what his character is and whatnot. But mechanically wise, like playing him, I just don't personally enjoy him. This is really not a gripe against the game itself. I mean, again, he plays fine. He's just very different. Because normally the way the game works is that when you're fighting or you're playing, you have to choose kind of between either swinging the sword or shooting the gun, and you have different options for them. You can charge up shots while you're stabbing someone and the like, or you can do like combos and switching between them. But the way V works is that his gun and his kitty cat can attack all at the same time. His gun being his griffin and the kitty cat being
his bird named Griffin.
Yeah, his bird
not
named
a literal Griffin.
Not a literal. Yeah, it's true. Although he technically was a literal griffin because he's based off of the one of the games. So
I just meant it's not the
it's
bird
not.
lion.
It's not. Oh yeah, okay. So you're saying it's not bird lion. Yeah, it's true. And the way that plays out, and normally this is fine because I mean Virgil kind of played like that in 4 and 3 when you got to play with him because you can actually shoot off his summoned swords while you're slashing, so it's not a big deal. The problem is that a number of different moves are kind of intricately linked to it, and that the issue being is that the bird and the kitty cat, they kind of like to warp to you. You can like position them kind of softly, manually, like that you can call them back to you based on certain moves that they do and whatnot. If you dash to the side, that will call back the panther. If you press R1 back and L1 or circle or square for default controls, it'll pull Griffin back to you as well and it'll perform a special move. This is a little bit frustrating though, because sometimes you might be focusing on utilizing the gun and then you accidentally do something that might call back the panther because you need to dodge out of something and you call your panther back when he was in the middle of chaining an enemy, which is a little bit frustrating. Sometimes you're chaining with your enemy, you're shooting away, and then you're kind of backing up to avoid getting too close with another critter, and you accidentally call back Griffin because Griffin is now meeting the requirements to be called back and utilize a different move. And so that kind of makes it a little bit janky at times, and a little bit frustrating, which is just unfortunate because otherwise he is a very good character. Because he does kind of play a little bit differently from the other ones, which again is kind of the problem where I had a little issue with him is that he wasn't. That was like the most frustrating thing is unfortunately screw myself over because of the way these mechanics work, and I'm just trying to adjust. And because of that, they have certain mechanics that call back and don't call back, and that was the only problem with him. He played, like I said, though, he plays mechanically fine. It just, for me personally, that was just one of the things that happened. Probably my least favorite character to play as, just because of that, unfortunately.
They can't all be your favorite.
I know.
Nero's got a lot of cool arms, and he looks real fun to play.
Nero is a lot of fun with his arms, but I kind of have this really bad habit of not really burning through the arms. I kind of just use whatever arm is on me at the moment and adjust accordingly. Which kind of diminishes what he can do because you kind of should utilize them, burn the arms when you can. With another arm might be better for the moment to moment, and that's kind of like what he is. He's got a lot of options to deal with something, but he just has a limited supply on how he deals with them with those arms. But I love the arms; they're great. They're so fun. They add a lot. Nero's a blast to play just in general, and then Dante has all the tools. He literally has the whole kit and caboodle and the kitchen sink.
I mean, I could see him fighting with kitchen sink.
I could see him fighting with kitchen sink
in this game. Yes,
it would be absolutely fine. So yeah, DMC5 has been a wonderful blast. I recommend anybody to pick it up. It is an absolutely fun game to play, even if you're just playing it for just a single run through. It's absolutely worth the $50 or $60. I don't know what it's currently priced at, but it's absolutely worth the money to spend on it. It's a beautifully well done game, and you will enjoy the ever living getting out of it. And first DLC coming out will be Bloody Palace, which is essentially just a gauntlet of beating enemies. It's also theorized that Virgil might be playable in this because there have been some code leaks that have shown that Virgil is a technically playable character.
It's supposed to be co-op, right? Or co-opable?
Apparently so. Yeah, it's apparently supposed to be a soft co-opable. Apparently multiple people may be able to join in and play Bloody Palace together, which would be really cool. A lot of people have, I mean, I think this is kind of like one of the first real big action games I've ever seen do this kind of thing. Generally, they're a very solo player experience, the dying genre. And and to see something kind of like this co-op thing being elementally added to it, I really wanted to I really want to see it in play, and then I really want it to succeed. So
yeah, it looks. I watched you play a lot of it, and it looks real fun. I'll probably get it when it goes on sale because I'm not the kind of person who's gonna like play it a bunch of times, like all the different difficulty modes. But
yeah, absolutely, wait for a sale. If you're not gonna play through a lot of it, then wait for a sale. There's no biggie.
Yeah, that's my goal too.
It's a great game. Absolutely recommend it. So very much pleased to see that